Imagine you're in a crowded room where everyone is chasing success. Some play by the rules, working diligently and holding fast to their principles. Others lie, manipulate, and steamroll anyone in their path. Yet, time and again, it's the ruthless who seem to soar to the top. Why does the world seem rigged to favor the worst among us? From history to politics to business, we see it everywhere. Individuals who, despite their moral failings, wield extraordinary power. From brutal emperors to cutthroat CEOs, the pattern is undeniable. This isn't mere chance. It's woven into the fabric of human nature, rooted in our evolutionary psychology and social systems. In a world of scarce resources, competition is fierce. Those who hesitate, who cling to fairness at every turn, often find themselves outpaced. Meanwhile, those willing to exploit, deceive, and dominate rise swiftly. This stark reality raises a troubling question. Is morality a liability in the pursuit of power? Yet, there's a twist. While the unscrupulous may triumph in the short term, history is littered with tales of their downfall. So, it's not just about why they rise, but whether their success lasts. And for those of us who refuse to abandon our values, what does it mean? To unravel this, we turn to Friedrich Nietzsche, who saw power as a raw, undeniable force, neither good nor evil, but a truth of existence. To grasp why the ruthless often prevail, we must explore one of his boldest ideas: master morality versus slave morality. Picture two warriors on a battlefield. One is bold, decisive, and fearless, seizing what he desires and bending the world to his will without seeking approval. The other hesitates, waiting for validation, hoping fairness will win the day. Which one survives? Which one rules? Nietzsche argued that morality isn't a universal truth, but a product of power struggles. He identified two moral frameworks shaping human history: master morality and slave morality. These aren't just theories. They explain why the ruthless often dominate, while the kind-hearted struggle. Master morality belongs to the strong, the rulers, the conquerors. It celebrates strength, courage, ambition, and power. For the masters, good is whatever fuels their ability to create, dominate, and assert their will. They don't seek permission. They define their own value and take charge of their destiny. Weakness isn't to be pitied. It's to be overcome. Slave morality, by contrast, is the code of the oppressed, the powerless. Unable to dominate, they glorify humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice, casting suffering as noble and power as evil. Nietzsche saw this as a survival tactic, a way for the weak to cope in a world ruled by the strong. Here's the harsh truth. Slave morality doesn't stop the ruthless, it enables them. By condemning ambition and shaming power, it hands the reins to those who ignore morality altogether. While the virtuous hesitate, those embracing master morality seize control. In a world where hesitation means defeat, the outcome is clear. So, what's the answer? Should we ditch morality and embrace ruthlessness? Or is there a way to blend strength with virtue? To find out, we must dive into the minds of those who rise, those who refuse to be victims of circumstance. Imagine a wild, untamed frontier. Survival here isn't about fairness or kindness. It's about strength, adaptability, and the will to act. The lion doesn't ask to hunt. The storm doesn't apologize for its force. Nature doesn't reward morality. It rewards those who endure and dominate. Human society, beneath its laws and norms, is much the same. A primal struggle for survival persists, and those who rise often share a key trait: ruthlessness. Not always cruelty, but the ability to act decisively, unburdened by guilt or doubt. This isn't random. It's an evolutionary edge, a trait that has lifted individuals and empires alike. Psychologists studying success in cutthroat arenas point to recurring traits: fierce ambition, low fear, and yes, sometimes a muted sense of empathy for those in the way. This doesn't mean all powerful people are heartless, but many possess traits that let them act without the emotional brakes that hold others back. Think of history's game changers, Julius Caesar, modern tycoons. The pattern holds. Hesitation is a weakness. Power is seized, not granted. The bold step forward, take risks and deal with the fallout later. That's why the ruthless rise while the cautious linger in the shadows. But here's the catch. Ruthlessness alone isn't enough. Those who wield power without wisdom often crash spectacularly. The traits that propel someone to the top can also spark their ruin. A leader who rules by fear alone may be consumed by the forces they unleashed. History is full of tyrants who thought themselves untouchable until they weren't. So, if the ruthless often claim power, does that mean morality and fairness are doomed? Not quite. To see why, we must dismantle a dangerous myth, the illusion that the world is fair. From childhood, we're fed a soothing story. The world is just, good people win, and fairness prevails. Fairy tales, religious teachings, and moral codes reinforce this. But reality tells a different tale. The hardest workers aren't always the richest. The most honest don't always lead. The kindest hearts often break. This isn't a glitch. It's the system. Fairness is a social construct, a story to keep order, not a reflection of truth. Power and success aren't awarded for merit alone. They're fought for, claimed, and often hoarded by those who master the game. Psychological research reveals the just world fallacy, our tendency to believe life is fair and people get what they deserve. This belief breeds passivity. If we think goodness alone ensures success, we ignore the realities of competition, strategy, and power. While we wait for justice, the ruthless move ahead. Does this mean morality is useless? Should we abandon principles for power? Not entirely. The key is to play the game without becoming its slave. Those who suffer most believe playing nice is enough. But those who balance integrity with strategy, kindness with strength, rewrite the rules. Fairness isn't given, it's built, and that takes power. Nietzsche saw the struggle as central to life. His solution wasn't to cling to illusions of fairness or embrace blind ruthlessness. Instead, he proposed something greater, the Übermensch, the individual who rises above morality, illusions, and limits. Imagine standing at the edge of an abyss. Behind you is a world of injustice and convention. Ahead lies the unknown, a path for the fearless. Most hesitate, bound by fear, but a few leap forward. These are the Übermenschen, those who forge their own way, redefining power on their terms. The Übermensch isn't about brute force or domination. It's about self-overcoming, refusing to be a victim, questioning imposed morality, and shaping one's destiny. At its core is the will to power, not control over others, but mastery of oneself. It's about embracing instincts to create, transform, and give meaning to a chaotic world. Unlike the ruthless, who seek power from insecurity, the Übermensch's strength is internal. They don't need deception or oppression. Their power is self-sustaining, free from external validation. So, how do we navigate a world that rewards the ruthless without becoming them? Power isn't a weapon. It's a tool. Picture a high-stakes game where the rules favor those who play to win at any cost. Hesitate and you lose. The ruthless know this and act without restraint. But you don't have to mirror them. The trap is thinking you must choose between ruthlessness or victimhood. There's a third way, blending strategy with integrity, competing without losing your soul. Nietzsche's philosophy wasn't about domination, but transcending weakness while staying true to yourself. The biggest mistake is believing life should be fair. It isn't, and never was. The strongest accept this, learn the rules, and use them to their advantage. This doesn't mean abandoning ethics, but recognizing power as neutral. Strategic empathy, reading motives and anticipating moves, lets you navigate deception without deceit. The Übermensch builds internal strength, embracing discomfort and forging paths despite opposition. Controlled ruthlessness isn't cruelty. It's making tough calls decisively, like cutting toxic ties or facing hard truths. The ruthless may rise fast, but they fall hard. Their power, built on exploitation, crumbles. The Übermensch builds, whether it's a business, a vision, or a personal transformation. By creating value, you become indispensable, earning power without manipulation. You can succeed in a ruthless world, but only by rejecting outdated rules, mastering power, and refusing to expect fairness. This leads to the ultimate question: is power evil, or is it misunderstood? Power drives the world, shaping lives for those who wield it and those under its sway. Nietzsche saw power not as domination, but as creation, the drive to surpass oneself and transcend limits. Yet history links power to corruption, with leaders falling to ego and greed. Is power evil, or does it expose human flaws? Nietzsche argued, power isn't about harming others but overcoming oneself, creating new values beyond society's constraints. Society often paints power as corrupt, suspicious of those who seek it. But what if that's a misreading? What if rejecting conventional morality and setting your own rules is the truest way to live? Raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic. Nietzsche's will to power isn't mere control. It's a drive to live fully, to push your potential. In this view, power is ethical, a challenge to break free and define your existence. But the path to power is a double-edged sword. Intent matters. Is power a tool to oppress or a means to create a reality aligned with your highest goals? Power isn't inherently evil. It's a tool. Wielded with integrity, it unlocks greatness. Used for selfish gain, it reveals human darkness. Nietzsche's challenge is to rethink power, not as something to fear, but as something to master through discipline, strength, and a relentless commitment to growth. If this dive into power and morality has sparked your curiosity, keep exploring. Share these ideas, reflect on your own path, and join the journey toward a deeper understanding of life, philosophy, and the pursuit of a more powerful existence.